Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chrissy and I am the owner of Sugar and Spice Glitter Co. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the steps of how I create a set of dominoes from beginning to end for a customer who ordered them on my Etsy shop. If you're interested in purchasing anything from me handmade, you can check out my Etsy shop. I'll have a link in the description down below. Or you can contact me through sugarandspiceglitter.com, which is my glitter shop, and I'd be happy to make you something handmade custom through there as well. Before we get started, I just want to say how excited I am to be finally showing you this video. I have created dominoes in the past in my Facebook group. I think I mentioned that in the actual video, but I've never done like a beginning to end resin mold video here on my channel. So hopefully you guys are excited. One of the main reasons why I'm so excited about today's video is because there are so many amazing resin artists out there. I've seen a bunch of tutorials and a bunch of people creating amazing things using resin molds, but I feel like there's a lack in showing you guys how to actually finish the pieces. And a lot of people I notice don't even finish their pieces, so hopefully this is something that is beneficial to you. If you didn't know that you needed to finish your resin pieces, or you didn't know how to go about finishing your resin pieces, then hopefully this video can help you out. So here's just a little sneaky peek at what the dominoes look like. I just love how they turned out, and the glitter colors actually go pretty well together. I wasn't sure when the customer told me what colors they wanted, how it was going to look, but of course, whatever the customer asks, the customer gets. So hopefully you guys love how they turned out and you're interested in seeing today's video. But I'm gonna stop talking now, and without further ado, if you're ready to see how I created these dominoes, then keep on watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I create a set of dominoes for a customer's order. So this is actually an order that was placed on my Etsy website for this set of dominoes. And I've done a video on making dominoes before in my VIP Facebook group. However, I wanted to create a more in-depth, detailed video on YouTube here for you guys to show you guys basically how I start and finish my dominoes. So aside from laying down your molds and preparing your station, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and mix up your resin. My resin of choice for molds is Counterculture's Artist Resin Medium Viscosity or their Thin Viscosity. I like to use their thinner viscosity resins for my molds because I feel like it's easier to mix up. Also, I feel that you don't get as many bubbles with the thinner viscosities than you do with the regular viscosity resins, but it is personal preference and you can use regular viscosity resin for your molds as well. For this particular mold, you're going to want to mix up about 120 to 150 mLs of resin. For this particular order, the customer did want me to do two different colors of glitter. So what I did was I separated my mixture into two separate cups and then poured the glitter of choice into each cup. So the red is Saint Nick and the blue is Elvis. Both of the colors that I'm using in this video are available at sugarandspiceglitter.com. You'll find all the links to everything used in this tutorial down below. So because the customer requested two separate colors, you can see here that I'm going in with blue on the bottom and red on the top of the domino. You can try and be intentional with the placement of your resin. However, at the end of the day, as the resin cures, it's going to mix and blend and do its own thing. So now we're just going to speed through and fill the entire mold with the red and blue glitter. Also, I do want to note that this customer also ordered a green set of dominoes, which is why I have a second set of molds out. However, for the purpose of this video, I'm only showing you guys from start to finish the red and blue set. Once I'm done pouring in the resin, I take a small little toothpick to kind of like blend those two colors together. So as I mentioned before, this customer also ordered a green glitter set of dominoes. So we're going to just fast forward and you can see that I already poured it. But before we go ahead and let that cure, you see the bubbles on the top? We're going to spritz that with 91% alcohol and you're going to see how they virtually disappear without having to hit this mold with a heat gun or a torch, because you never want to torch your molds. You can see how just spritzing your mold with 91% alcohol virtually gets rid of all those bubbles. Let your mold sit for 24 hours and now we're going to go ahead and demold both of the sets. So the reveal. This is my favorite part. I honestly love demolding like your pieces and looking at them. It's just so satisfying. So enjoy it, and I will be moving on to the next part after I demolded both of these sets. And if you don't feel like watching, then you can just go ahead and fast forward. I will try and put the timestamp in to where you need to fast forward to. So now that you watched that part, now it's time to get down and dirty. We got to finish up these pieces. And yes, just because you demolded your piece doesn't mean that you are done. There's more to finishing off your resin pieces than a lot of people show. So now I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to ensure that you have a really nice smooth finish on your dominoes. So what you don't want is this sharp edge on the back of your dominoes. So what you need to do is basically sand that down. Now there is a way to sand down your resin and polish it up without having to add more resin on top. However, it's a huge process, so we're just gonna go ahead and skip that altogether. Sand the back of our domino pieces until that sharp edge is as smooth as you can get it with a regular sanding block. You can also do this wet sanding, so you can spray your domino or the sandpaper with a little bit of water and then just wet sand the back of your dominoes. We're gonna do this to all the domino pieces. So once I'm done sanding the backside of my dominoes, you're going to notice that the edge that was once sharp is now going to look dull and flat and smooth. That's what you want your backside of your dominoes to look like after you're sanding. You can see that I can rub my finger along the edge without giving myself a cut. If you leave that sharp edge on and send it to your customers, chances are they can get cut, and you want to avoid that. You want your piece to be nice and smooth and shiny, but that's not all that we have to do to finish the backside of our dominoes. So now you can see that I've laid out all the dominoes on a piece of parchment wax paper, and I've laid them down with the backside up. For this part, you can finish them with regular resin, or you can go in with UV resin like I'm doing here. And the UV resin that I purchased, I just got from Amazon. Once you apply a little bit of resin on the backside of this domino, we're going to smooth it out with a popsicle stick. Now this part here, a lot of people call doming. So when you dome a resin piece, this is basically what they're doing. Now, depending on how thick you want the backside of your dominoes to be will determine how much resin you want to add. I don't want it to be too bulky and big, so I'm kind of just smoothing it out just to give the back piece a nice shiny finish, and also to cover up those edges that we just sanded down. The good thing about UV resin is that it is also self-leveling, just like regular resin is, but you can have it cured under the UV light in a matter of a few minutes. So you do want to take that into consideration if you want to finish off the backside of your piece with UV resin versus regular resin. So now that I've showed you guys how I apply the resin, I'm going to cure it for you and then show you what the finished piece should look like. Here you have what the backside looks like now that the UV resin is all cured. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the dominoes, and then I'll show you guys once everything is fully cured. So one really important tip that you guys are going to want to know is that when you're getting ready to apply your UV resin, one thing you need to do is ensure that you are in a room that doesn't have any UV rays shining through. So if you're working in an area that has an open window that a lot of light gets in through, it's not going to work out well for you, and your resin will start to cure before you get to smooth it onto your piece. So what you want to do is make sure that you're in an area, like I said before, that doesn't have any windows or sunlight shining through, so that you can have adequate time to spread out your resin, it can even out, and then you can go ahead and cure it with your UV light. You also want to make sure that you're bringing that resin up to the edge and not over the edge. The last thing you want is for your resin to have to pour over the side, and then you have to sand it down and do this part all over again. So try and be careful with how you're pushing your resin over the edge, and that you don't apply too much so that it doesn't spill over. Now that I've applied the UV resin to the backside of all the dominoes, I'm going to go ahead and start curing in batches. I think I can fit about 6 to 7 pieces under this light, and I usually leave them under for about 5 minutes. Once they're fully cured, this is what the backside of your piece should look like. I love how it looks, so nice and shiny, and yeah, that's basically what you want your backside of your domino or any resin piece that you're working with to look like. So this customer requested that I added rhinestones to her domino, so now I'm going to show you guys how I do that. The adhesive that I use is called Liquid Fusion, and I get it off of Amazon. I'll have the link down below. I'm going to be using crystal rhinestones from Sugar & Spice Glitter Co. You can find the link down below, and the size of these stones is SS16. I am going to be using this rhinestone applicator pen from Sugar & Spice Glitter. This is going to help me apply the rhinestones onto my dominoes. One side is a stainless push pin, and then the other side is your wax tip. And the wax tips can be replaceable once they've been worn down. What I'm going to do now is put some of the rhinestones in my little rhinestone tray. These rhinestone trays you can find on Amazon. I'll have a link down below as well. If you shake them up, they help flip over the rhinestones so that they're face up. That's what those little lines do. After I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my liquid fusion, and I'm literally just taking a drop of liquid fusion and placing that in each little numbered dot spaces, so you can see that I'm just dotting on. I know it's kind of hard to see face on exactly how I'm putting it, but it's just a little tiny drop. You don't need much. So now we're just going to apply the crystal rhinestones into those same spots where we applied the liquid fusion. It's super easy and simple. You just want to make sure that you push down the rhinestone into that space. So that's the reason why I choose SS16, because for me, it seems to be the best fit. If it's nice and snug in there, kind of like an inlay, it does stick out just a little bit from the top of the dominoes, but it fits in kind of like halfway. So to me, it's perfect. And I just love the look of adding the rhinestones as an addition to the dominoes. I'm going to show you guys the entire process. You can go ahead and keep on watching, or you can skip on forward to the next step. Once your rhinestones are in and they're fully cured, this is what your dominoes should look like at the end of this step. You can see that the back is nice and smooth and the dominoes are in there really snug. Now we're going to move forward to the very last step of finishing off your dominoes, and that is applying your accent lines. Now, if you notice in the dominoes, they have a separation between the top and the bottom number. So I'm going to take my metallic pen that happens to be in a silver color as requested by the customer. I do have other colors, however, like I said, this was what was requested. So I'm gonna just go ahead and fill in those lines. And these markers were purchased on Amazon. They came in a kit with a bunch of different colors, so I'll try and find them because I purchased them a while ago, and I will list them in the description down below for you guys. I usually like to go in with about 2 to 3 coats of this paint pen. The first layer is usually a little bit light and transparent, so once I go in with the first layer, I'll let that fully dry and then go in with the second and third just to darken up those lines. So once the paint is fully dried on these dominoes, you're basically ready to go, and I give my customers 2 options of whether they want me to send them in a box or a bag. And I have these little cute organza bags that I put them inside of if they request a bag. This customer did. And then that's pretty much it. You're ready to go. In this next clip, I'm going to show you guys what they look like completely finished. I'm so happy with how they turned out. I just love making dominoes, and the combinations of colors is endless, especially with the rhinestones. Just add an additional pop. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching me create this customer order. If you enjoyed today's video, then please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite part of today's video was. Don't forget to check the description box down below for all the product details. Also, follow me on all my social media accounts. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.